This is Get Off My Lawn Live. Join us as we talk trending topics, world and local issues, and the conversations that we need to talk about as people. Get Off My Lawn Live is a Nighthawk Network presentation. Good evening, everybody. It's your boy E. Buck, Eric Buckner in the house, and this once again is Get Off My Lawn Live, my podcast. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. Hopefully, everybody is doing well. Had a very pleasant and restful holiday. Had a lot of good food and all that good stuff. We are here today to talk to you for the first time in a few weeks about the trending topics of the week and the month and the year, and some conversations that, as always, I feel we need to have as people. See, we already got people checking in. Let's see who we got coming into the building. What up, Doe? Shout out to whoever that is. Of course, as you know, we are streaming on several platforms here, so sometimes it takes me a quick minute to identify who some of our people chiming in is, so stand by while I do that. It is indeed Coach V checking into the building. What up, Coach? Road to Stardom also checking in this evening. What up, Road? How are you? Good to see you as always, my friend. We are definitely here to talk to you guys. It's been a few weeks and I've missed you. Yep, Coach B, I got it. I got you, bro. So shout out to you guys on the book, on the YouTube, as well as the people here in Vigo. Glad that you are all here to join us. Rose saying she's good. Go Blue, you absolutely know Go Blue. Now, granted, you know this is the podcast that we talk about other topics, but you best believe we definitely will get into that on Wednesday for sure, Coach V. Definitely proud of my boys in the Big Blue down there in Ann Arbor for handling that business. But right now we are talking about other things. At least we will after we come back from these commercial messages, supporting the people of the Nighthawk Network, my podcast network, for those of you not familiar. And when we get back, we will get into the show itself. So grab some water, some chips, the rest of those leftovers, whatever you're going to do. Make sure you share it to people that you know will be interested in some of what we're talking about. And when we get back, let's get into it. This is Get Off My Lawn Live. EB back in the building to kick it with you guys after words from our sponsors. Let's do it.
If it wasn't for your grace and mercy surrounding me, protecting me, where would I be? Ooh, if it wasn't for your grace and mercy surrounding me, protecting me, where would I be? Oh yeah. If it wasn't for your grace and mercy surrounding me, protecting me, where would I be? Oh yeah. Your grace and your mercy keeps me when I don't obey. Your grace and your mercy renew for me every day. Your grace and your mercy is why I am here today. Your grace and your mercy don't take it away. Lord, I pray. Your grace and your mercy keeps me when I don't obey. I thank you, Lord. I thank you, Lord. Your grace and your mercy for me.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Behind the Blue Curtain, Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Unscripted talk on police reform and race relations.
And now, Behind the Blue Curtain's law enforcement liaison, retired 32-year Chicago police veteran, homicide detective, former commander, sergeant, grant writer, lecturer, and adjunct professor, Joseph J. Mosley.
Behind the Blue Curtain's Minister of Common Sense, former 12-year Fort Worth police officer, educator, voice of reason, and unapologetic practitioner of sound judgment, the young scholar, LaRonda Young.
Behind the Blue Curtain's co-host, fact checker, and investigative journalist, Isidoro Rodriguez.
What's going on, y'all? Get Off My Lawn Live is back in the building here to talk to you guys this evening. Shout out, of course, to my cousin, Dr. Marla Facey, and, of course, the one and only Stan Mason, host of the Behind the Blue Curtain show, along with his co-host. Shout out to all you guys if you are checking in and checking this out. Appreciate your support in there. Want to send the love back, so that's the commercials. Let's see who else we got checking in. Coach B back saying he'll be there for Wednesday's show, Game Time Audible. And hello, we are getting hello from Miss Pat. Good evening, Miss Pat. How are you? Thanks for checking out the show. I see you guys popping in. Appreciate you coming through to talk with us this evening. We are here now, of course, to talk about some of the trending topics of the week. I'm going to start the show out with a little something different, because you know what we usually end up talking about first, but we're going to hold on that. And we're actually going to talk about, in particular, the two court decisions that have been reached in the last 7 days. As you know, there was the trials for both Kyle Rittenhouse and Ahmaud Arbery, who came to conclusions in the last 7 days. Kyle Rittenhouse, of course, got the verdict of not guilty on all charges. And the Ahmaud Arbery trial led to 3 convictions of all 3 people who were tried on most of the charges that they faced. Now, the situation with both of those trials they were in 2 different states, under 2 different sets of rules, being trials based upon certain evidence, some of it video evidence. Now, here's the problem, people. We got 2 sets of circumstances and 2 of the same circumstances at the same time. First of all, in the Ahmaud Arbery trial, we have the prosecution, which, of course, are people who are lawyers for the state that are prosecuting those people who are the defendants, who, of course, are people being defended by lawyers paid for by them, with a lot of help from other sources. Now, when we talk about some of those other sources that gave them a little boost in terms of affording the appropriate lawyers and legal teams, those lead from other organizations, other groups of people, other people who have cash that those people did not have. Now let's go back to Rittenhouse trial, where basically the prosecution was against Kyle Rittenhouse, who basically had lawyers who were paid for, again, by organizations. Now, when I talk about organizations, I think some of you guys know what I'm talking about. We're talking about people that have boatloads of money to give to people who they want to have defended because they agree with what they did. And why do they agree with people who have murdered people? Because of who the people were and what the murders were for. Kyle Rittenhouse basically killed people who were protesting on behalf of Jacob Blake, a black man in Wisconsin. And Ahmaud Arbery, of course, was a black man killed by 3 white men. And those white men in return received money for their legal fees from certain organizations. Now, am I saying those organizations are based upon race and are basically those people who would like to see the outcome for the people who are the ones accused? I'm going that far. Am I saying exactly who they are? I don't know exactly who they are, so I can't go as far as that. But I will say that most definitely we are looking at a situation, folks, where we cannot get fair justice because other players in the game makes it more difficult to do so. Let me get some of these comments right quick. Rittenhouse and his mother should have gotten jail time. And yes, absolutely. If not Rittenhouse, definitely his mother, because she was the one who brought him there. But I'm gonna get into a couple quick details in a moment. Hold on. Exactly says, let's see. Not sure who said that one. So true. Okay, remember, y'all, we got multiple streams going, so sometimes I need to go back and forth to determine who is saying what. So stand by, because I definitely want to address all the comments from all the people coming in. Let us see. What we got? Yes, Miss Pat is the one saying exactly. Okay. Miss Pat said, okay, gotcha, Miss Pat. Okay, so here's the thing. It is 2 different trials, but the outcome should have been the same. All 4 of those people, the 3 in the Arbery trial and Mr. Rittenhouse, should personally be in prison for the rest of their natural lives. However, when it comes to certain cases, justice is skewed. Won't say blind, but definitely mismanaged. Now, shout out to Stan Mason and the boys. They did break down both of these cases yesterday wonderfully on the show known as Behind the Blue Curtain. I strongly encourage you guys to check out that conversation to see what they had to say. See, many of them are in law enforcement and have a better understanding in terms of the actual case than I. But I will say that based on what I saw of the trials, both of them, the evidence showed me that, yes, these 2 people committed murder, plain simple. Well, these 4 people. Now, I understand why in the case of the 3rd person who did not actually physically participate per se in the murder of Arbery, but basically filmed it, got a little less in terms of the overall judgments. But in the end, I feel like he is as guilty as the other 2, and all 3 of them should never see the light of day ever again. In the case of Kyle Rittenhouse, we have the opposite effect. Not only was he not convicted on any of the charges brought against him, but now he's on this grand tour, it seems. He's talked to people in Congress about possibly getting internships there. There have been people that have offered him jobs. There have been people who have took him to talk to the former president and meet him. So not only is he not being convicted for killing people, but he's basically being rewarded for it. And of course, there's still the matter of the rest of the $2 million that people sent in for his defense that he will not use all of for that. What happens to the rest of that money? Is that basically a bonus for killing people? I mean, what's going on with that? It was pure racism. And Rittenhouse took a picture with the former racist president. That part, Ms. Pat, that part right there. In the end, folks, we have problems, okay? We have problems with our justice system, and it's not always just the issue of the white and black getting different verdicts and being seen differently. Understand part of that is the part of our justice system. Part of that, honestly, is our fault because we as people have determined that our votes don't count. So we as African Americans who represent 40% of the population do not vote in large enough numbers. And because of that, we do not represent the jury pool as we should. And because we don't represent the jury pool as we should, we are not called to be jurors. And when we are, we try to get out of it. But meanwhile, our peers who want us to look at the case from our standpoint do not have us to help them. So we are tried by whoever is left. So part of why many verdicts go to rate that they shouldn't is because of the jury pool itself. It is very hard to have a trial where a black man is killed primarily because he was black, and then have to deal with the fact that most of the jury that will decide that verdict are people who are not black, so they don't have any tremendous understanding of why that happened the way it happened. No justice, no peace indeed. And then, of course, in the Rittenhour trial, there are different statutes that come into play in terms of the court in Wisconsin. We all have said never in the history of courts have we seen a situation where a juror-led trial is basically determined by the person who's being tried, to where they are allowed to pick through a bag, through a system, in order to pick out the 12 people that will be the people that will determine his fate, and then in return have those 12 people come back and declare him not guilty on all 5 counts. Never have I seen that. Never should I ever see that again. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So we have that going on. Remember, a lot of us, we are not going to have the cachet to have that type of money to get quality defense in regards to whatever trial is being faced. Just recently, remember, there was the guy who ran over the people at the parade. He is currently awaiting trial, and someone who I'm assuming is an African American decided to start a GoFund account to get him money for his case. The GoFund account was eventually taken off of GoFundMe because people felt like, no, he should not be getting money for that. What he did was very malice, and he should not be rewarded for it or be helped by people in order to get off. Remember, this person, based on what we know, is a career criminal. He has a record that goes back some 30 years, basically from petty theft to aggravated assault, domestic battery, you name it. Put him up under the jail, says the Facebook user. Hey, cuz, shout out to my Poco cuz Julie checking in. Thank you for coming through. We appreciate you. Make sure you guys share the live and all that with people so we can have more people discuss. I am very anxious to hear what you guys have to say about everything we're talking about this evening. Shout out to my people on the Bigo. Jay Fisher, shout out to you, my friend. But yes, folks, our justice system is very broken. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate that. Our justice system is very broken, folks. And in order to fix it, we have to fix a litany of things. Remember, there are bills that are sitting in the drawers of Congress right now that will reform several things that is presently wrong with our justice system. But because cash rules everything around us, dollar bill, y'all, some of that will never see the light of day. We are too concerned about government shutdowns and things to even have a time to look at those bills. We're too determined that, okay, we can't have the Democrats fix what's wrong because then they'll be like, we did it. We can't have the Republicans step out and say, okay, well, we know what to do to fix it, because then it's like, okay, you see their plan, our plan is better. This is why. It's a whole bunch of give and take in the government, and in turns, we are the victims, because as opposed to doing what we expect government to do for us, which is help to legislate and make the place better, they are making it worse. It's not broken, it's working just like it's designed. Okay, hold on. I need to see who said that one. Stand by, good people. Kind of just going back and forth here. You know, like I said, I have several platforms where the show is being aired, so it doesn't always show me who is saying what. Give me a second. Oh, Stan Mason checking in. All right, absolutely. And unfortunately, Stan, in terms of how it was designed initially, I'm afraid you're right about that. Because in the end, there are the people, and then there's just people. the people and just people. And in the end, for the people, courts and things of that nature, they do work. But for the people, the real people, the us people, it is designed to kind of hold us down and not allow us to be people that benefit from it. It's the sad truth of the matter. And again, shout out to you, Stan Mason, because you made several good points on the show yesterday. Excellent job. Again, for those of you who are a part of the Nighthawk Network information group, you will be able to catch that episode if you go scroll back a little bit to see the show yesterday. I highly recommend that you watch it. There were a lot of good points being made, a lot of experts on the show that basically broke down the whole scenario so that you can too understand where they come from. The system doesn't work for African Americans, exactly, because as you know, several people here that are found in the United States see us as second-class citizens, if not citizens at all. So that is part of it, but then it also doesn't work for people of color. It definitely doesn't work for people who do not have the cachet to make it work, okay? How many times have we seen somebody who could afford the litany of lawyers and throw legal legislation at you to where that person says, you know what, just let them be. They got enough stuff going on, we just can't deal with it. And then there's the people that can't afford even basic lawyer A, and they throw the book at them, and what they may have done is little more than a petty crime, but get multiple years for something that basic person A with a little bit of cash would only get a slap on the wrist and a couple years of probation for. We've seen it time and time again over the years. Also, recently, there was a man who was released from prison after 43 years for a crime that was proven years ago that he did not do. Imagine spending 43 years in prison and then coming out to a world that you have no great understanding thereof. A lot didn't happen in 43 years, y'all. And that time he has had children, his children has had children, his mother died, he lost his home, etc., etc. But there are many stories like that in our prisons today of people that are locked up not because they did it, but because they didn't do it, but didn't have enough legal team behind them to make it to where they could be free. What's bothering me, people are rewarding them for committing murder. Exactly. That's the part that claws at me as well. I cannot believe that that young man not only got away with all of the murder, but now is being taken on tour and paraded like someone who deserves to be praised. Like he basically did the world a favor by killing 2 people and injuring others. AR-15. If Stan is in the building, it's a military weapon I'm sure he's familiar with. He can tell you what type of damage that weapon can do. Remember, that young man had no business being there. It was not his fight to fight. He didn't live in that state. He wasn't old enough to be in charge of anything, to help out with anything. He didn't even live in the city. For all I know, he probably barely knew who Jacob Blake even was. So why on earth did he find himself in that situation? And in the end, all he got was, shame on you. Here's some money. Want a job? We got you. Where do they do that at? We talk about America being the best country in the world, but yet we do stuff like this and we show the world, maybe America ain't all that. It's stuff to make you think, people. And if you're not thinking, you're not paying attention. Now, that being said, we'll get to the next topic. One of my topics that I find myself constantly talking about. So I'm sitting here looking at the numbers right now. As soon as I mention it, I expect about 2 or 3 people to jump off because you hate when I talk about this. You hate to talk about a period, but it's a part of what's going on. So I need you to pay attention. Yes, folks, we're about to have that conversation about good old COVID-19. So as I watch the numbers about the fall, I will tell you that, yes, I am concerned about it. And yes, you should be as well, because guess what? It's almost 2 years now, and it's still an issue. Not only is it not still an issue, it's become a worse issue in recent weeks because now, as the numbers falling off as I predicted, we are dealing with a new variant of COVID known as Omicron. And according to the information that we have, It is coming out of the South African region of the world. For those of you who don't know, yes, we have an abundance, an overabundance of all type of vaccines here in America, but in some other parts of the world, the vaccine is not available as much, and there are people that actually want to take said vaccine. So I'm sure some of you will say, yeah, well, give it to them then. We don't want that poison or all the other stuff you like to call it. But guess what? Because these people are not vaccinated and they don't have availability to the vaccine, for those people who are getting sick, the vaccine and the COVID-19 is just basically bouncing around from parts of the country to other parts of the country, and it's getting stronger. Remember, people, yes, every year they ask us to take flu shots. It's not that they want us to get flu shots because you got to pay or whatnot. If you notice, most of the flu shots that you are asked to take are free. It's because the flu is constantly mutating as well. Understand, flu vaccine is not nearly as effective as the COVID vaccines, but in the same token, just like in the case of the COVID vaccines, if we had enough people on earth who were vaccinated, who basically had immunization from the vaccine, from the flu vaccine that is, then we would have less likelihood that the flu would go back and forth. Because right now, yes, we have over half the country vaccinated, but we have less than 35% of the world vaccinated. That is part of why COVID is an issue. And a lot of our major metropolitan areas, we do have people who are vaccinated, but in most of those cities and states, maybe the exception will be places like New York, the majority of people that live there are not vaccinated or have only received one dose, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. Why would you start the process and not go on? Well, that first time, it made me sick, and I wasn't about to go through all that again. Now, I'm not saying that some of you guys are punks and whatnot. Yes, some of those symptoms are very hard to contend with. I get that. But in the same token, you are not alone. I was the one who came on and said that this is, in essence, the greatest experiment ever partaken from mankind. I remember that, for those of you that want to throw that back on me. But that being said, for the most part at this point, the experiment is a success. The vast majority of people who have taken the vaccine have not contracted COVID-19. And for those who have, the vast majority of those have not got severely ill. Now, yes, over almost 10,000 people who have been fully vaccinated have died from coronavirus since that time. I understand that. But that is around the world, 10,000. We're not talking about the 6 million almost now of people who have died from COVID in that same time. Most of them, of course, obviously not vaccinated. So we are playing the averages. And some of you have determined, yeah, I'm going to continue to play the averages. I'm not taking the vaccine. I'm waiting for that comment to pop up any moment, because it usually does when we have this conversation. And then, of course, I will ask what I always ask. What is your thought as to why not? And some of you do have research to back up what you're having. And, of course, as I'm saying that, their numbers drop off some more. Stereotypical. But nonetheless, I got to keep it 100 with y'all. Just get off my lawn. I'm telling you about my lawn. We're down to 3 now. People, at some point, we have to come to some decisions, okay? Some of you major decisions. You said, okay, here you go talking about that crazy COVID stuff again. I'm out. I ain't trying to hear that. And some of you know, like I do, at some point, if we do not figure out how this is going to be resolved, it will continue back and forth. The Omicron will be another variant in another 3-4 months, and so on and so forth. Now, my greatest concern, of course, is what happens when we get to a variant where the current vaccines do not work on them. Or basically, even if you are fully vaccinated, even if you have the booster shot, because this variant is so much stronger than the original one, it will not be effective toward that. Then what do we do? Do we keep going? We do need to talk about it, absolutely. So I am. You leave, you leave. Thank you for checking in. We appreciate it. But I got to keep it 100, y'all. And the 100 is, at some point, decisions need to be made. Am I going to sit here and tell you, you definitely need me to be vaccinated? No, I've never done that. I'm continue in that process to say, no, I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just saying if you're not going to do that, what are you going to do? That is the discussion I want to have, folks. If you're not going to do it, what you going to do? And I'm sorry, if I get it, I get it. It's not an acceptable answer anymore. It's not. It absolutely is not. Because if you get it, yeah, you get it, but also you lead to the possibility of other people getting it as well. I am tired. I am tired of not being able to go to my job because we've had to shut down for yet again the 4th time in 6 months due to COVID. I am tired because in the end I have to be concerned about the people around me giving me COVID because I have underlying conditions. I am tired of hearing my friends and family members tell me about friends and family members that are getting COVID. Some of them not being anywhere in the vicinity of people under most circumstances, but still manage to get COVID because the people around them are not being safe in their practices. We have heard the recommendations. We have heard the suggestions as to what we need to do to control the spread. Taking a vaccine is only one of them. The main one, yes, but only one of them. What are we doing about wearing the mask? What are we doing about social distancing? What are we doing about keeping our hands and our bodies clean? What are we doing? In the end, some of you have said, I'm going to live my life. I'm not going to let this stress me out. I can't deal with it because some of you don't deal with stress well, and you do have my sympathies on that. But in the end, people, we have to figure out at some point, how do we live with COVID without affecting this many people in the population? Granted, I don't think COVID is ever going to completely go away. There will never be a cure for COVID in my lifetime. I'm going to safely assume that. But we at least got to get the numbers to where we can operate and not have this level of problematics for our health care systems, for our elderly, and so on. We have to figure this thing out to where it works. And yes, I would like to have a show where everybody checks in and we talk about all type of frizzy, fun stuff. And somewhere down the line, we could do that. But in the end, folks, this is Get Off My Lawn Live, and I talk about the things that are on my mind and things that I want you guys to think about. Some of these conversations, they're not comfortable. They're not something you care to talk about. That's why you jump off. You see I'm going here, and you leave. I understand that. I do. But in the end, why have this podcast, why use this platform if I'm not going to be honest in my assessments of what's going on? And bottom line, some of you, you don't care. And because you don't care, that's why we are still where we are with it. And again, I will say what I've said in the course of the last few months. It again will be worse before it gets better because we continue to have that attitude in regards to it all. So yeah, do I want you guys to have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday and all that? Yeah. Do I want you to live your life? Yeah, I just want you to do it safely. I want you to consider others in doing so. I want you to understand that there's still a pandemic out here and we still need to be mindful and careful. Let's stop making this thing political. Let's stop making this thing the us and them. Let's not start making these things because of decisions that are being made due to cash considerations. Let us consider the health of one another. Let us consider the village, people, because then we can get to some real progress and understanding and try to fix this thing once and for all. People are just selfish, giving people COVID because of them not being vaccinated. That is part of the problem, I'm afraid. But in the end, from what I'm looking at in society right now, there are a lot of selfish people. All you care about is you. So if all you care about is you, and people are saying things that go against what you want to do and how you think, yeah, you're going to pop off the podcast. Yeah, you're going to pop off the news and turn off anything talking about it because you want to act like it's not existing. But if you pay attention enough and if you care enough, you know that ultimately we got a problem and it's still a problem and it's not going to go away like that. You just can't turn the TV off and it magically disappears from the world. It may disappear from your circle, from where you are in your life, but no, there's that. But anyway, at the risk of losing more of my audience, I should go on with other topics. But bottom line is I'm the crime bearer and it is out there. Please educate yourselves as to what it's about, how contagious it is, what you can do to protect you and your family and the ones around you from spreading COVID. Please do that and be smart about it. Don't look at that one YouTube video and determine, yeah, that person knows better than Dr. Fauci, Dr. Jha, and all these other people that's telling us different after spending decades on research. Okay? Stop making it seem like the government trying to control you and population control, chip implantations, and all that other ish that y'all always like to throw in the conversation as to why you're not getting the vaccine. That part. But okay, y'all, I'm done with that for this week. But yeah, if I bring it up again, I'm going to. I'm not going to worry about anymore if you guys not liking the show because I talk about COVID a lot. I will stop talking about it when it stops being a problem. Let them leave. They are mad because they are not using common sense. Facts. See the world for what it is. Okay, people? Now, that being said, we do have other things to discuss here. And we're about to get into them. My next topic up for discussion is Cyber Monday. As you know, tomorrow is Cyber Monday. And because of that, my friends, we are all ready to get it in. If you have gone on the various sales platforms, you know, Amazon.com and Walmart and Target, Best Buy and the like, you know there are several deals out there for Cyber Monday. First of all, do know that the deals are not quite as deep as they have been in recent years, primarily because of problems with the supply chain. And what has caused that problem with the supply chains? Lack of workers. What has caused lack of workers? The majority of it is caused by the pandemic and what has been determined. So yeah, it all comes back to it in the end, don't it? But anyway, as you go to do your business on Cyber Monday, few things I want to point out. One, remember, folks, some of y'all just looking to shop and buy things for your loved ones. Others are looking for you. They waiting on you tomorrow. They're waiting on you to put in your information so they can swipe it and steal all your money. Be careful. When you use your credit cards and input, make sure you are using secure websites. Make sure you are keeping track of what you are spending. I suggest you use 1 or 2 cards specifically designed for shopping on some of these platforms. I also suggest you use platforms that you are familiar with and have protocols for when things like that happen. So yeah, granted, people may be done with Amazon, tired of making a boatload of money, but in the end, they are good at what they do. They take the order, they send the stuff. And 9 out of 10 times you will get what you ask for. And there will be very few issues. But if you do have issues, they are very good for the most part at fixing your issue. Same with Walmart, Best Buy and such. Now, when you go to lesser known commodities to buy your things, such as Wish or things of that nature, eBay and the like, you run into the possibility that you may get some stuff that you are not looking for, or you may not get what you want, or it may not come on time. These are things you have to contend with. So please know your source. By all means, please check reviews, although the reviews aren't always 100% accurate. At least gain an understanding. Okay, if you see enough negative reviews, more times than not, where there's smoke, there's fire. Check your Better Business Bureau if you're not sure about the site in which you're trying to buy some stuff from. See if they have any information in regards to that. Check with your circle. See if they have bought things from Wish and eBay and what was the time frames and things of that nature. In the end, you can always call to the local store, see if they have it, and set yourself up to either get it picked up the same day or have it delivered through some other means. Did you know that Uber right now has a service where you can get your packages delivered from one side to the other side? As in same day delivery, depending on where it is. If you can set up the proper deal, you can have somebody say, hey, can I send an Uber to the store to pick up that item and send the money, and then you send the package back, or I can send the money over my card and whatnot. There are ways to do that now. So look into that as well. Exactly. So yes, please, folks, be careful in regards to Cyber Monday. And remember, if most people are looking for a certain item, say that PlayStation 5, for instance, that everybody seems to want, no, you're not the only ones. And it's going to be very difficult to find those. And sometimes when you find them, they may not be in mint condition. You may be getting somebody's secondhand PS5 or somebody's broken PS5. Understand, since it's a very popular item, the likelihood that you will find a used one to buy from somebody is extremely unlikely. So note that there may be something wrong with said item, and that's why it's being sold. Definitely watch that eBay. Some people do well on eBay. I've heard some nightmare stories as well. So please be careful of that. The Cyber Monday is coming. The vast majority of people in the United States will be buying their goods online this year. And it is said that we are to spend somewhere between $700 and $800 billion on this Christmas. I also would say that in the end, if it's something that could wait till after Christmas, where more likely will even be cheaper still, I say you wait. If your little brats can't wait to the end, shame on them. But then again, please don't spend outside of your means. That's the other part of this. Do not end up your year, as many of us do, in big time debt, waiting then on tax season to bail us out. Can we not do that this year, people? Can we do it a little different? After all, if Omicron becomes a very bad variant, there is that possibility that we may have to make some adjustments. And I don't know if any of you guys are ready for that one again. I've heard a few times, if we ever get shut down again, this time let us not have to find that out the hard way, okay? What's going on, Grandma 2.0? Shout out to you, checking in on the Beagle Streets. But yes, folks, that is what's going on with that. Now go take a quick commercial break, and when we get back, I want to talk about the real reason for the season, okay? Because I would be very negligent if I don't have that discussion, and I want to also talk about how you can contribute to that there. Why go in debt making others happy? Why you worry? Exactly. My point. But yep, y'all, get off my lawn live. Eric Buckner in the building. Glad to be talking to y'all this evening. We'll be right back after these fine words from the Nighthawk Network. Nighthawk Network. You know the motto. Nighthawk Network. Our voices, our people. We'll be back.
We're not asking for your permission. We're not seeking your approval. We're claiming what's ours in the name of our ancestors. We are their answered prayers. This is more than a movement. This is a revolution. Black innocence. What are yours today?
The views and opinions expressed here on Get Off My Lawn Live are those of the host or his guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the Nighthawk Network or its associates. Viewer and listening discretion is advised. What's going on, y'all? Get Off My Lawn Live is back. I am your host, Eric Buckner, and we are here talking to you about the things that we talk about. And checking into the building, Miss Della Freeman. What's going on, DD? How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for checking in. Hey. We are now going to talk about the reason for the season, people. As you know, yes, we are in the holiday season in full effect. We have about good 26-7 days before Christmas comes. And, of course, a lot of our focus is on buying presents and gifts for our families and Christmas dinner and coming back in town from Thanksgiving and headed back out of town for Christmas and all that good stuff. But what I am here to tell you is, based on how I grew up in my household, based on the religion that I learned, Christmas is only partially about those things. It is also about the season for holiday giving and fellowship with our fellow man and all those great things. So I'm saying to you guys, while you are concerned about buying that next great gift for your children or your loved one, let us please consider those less fortunate than us. Let us also consider those who are having trouble during this holiday season, those who become severely depressed, those who have problems with mental illness and depression and things of that nature. I, myself, would like to challenge all of you this holiday season to seek out these people and do something kind for them. Let us practice our random act of kindness this season. I've had a talk with my co-host on Game Time Audible, that's one Mr. Hugh Lee, and we are going to get together to do a couple things in regards to our community, to do some good stuff for people this Christmas. We are going to donate on behalf of us in the Nighthawk Network dollars for the Capuchin Soup Kitchen here in Detroit that helps the homeless and less fortunate. And I would like to challenge all of you guys to do the same. There are people in our Nighthawk Network, such as Miss Pat, who constantly do work for the homeless and the less fortunate in her city of Baltimore. There are people out there like my cousin, Dr. Marla Facey, who oftentimes will come to some type of thing to do for the holidays to help people less fortunate. I would like for you to follow our example. So while you're figuring out what to do for your family and whatnot, can we put aside a few dollars and help out our fellow man? Can we do things that's going to make people have a better Christmas time? And if we cannot donate our money, can we at least try to donate a little time? Like I said, there are people out there who are dealing with loss. Many of us have lost people due to COVID, for example. There are people who don't view the holidays the same because of their loved ones no longer being here to share it with them. Let us do what we can to do things like have extra discussions with them to encourage them. Let us talk to them about coming over for the holidays if they have no one to spend the holidays with. Let us discuss what we can do for them to help them feel a little better about everything. Let us bring them into our village and show them some love, okay? Because that's what Christmas and the holidays should really be about. Not about how big a gift you can get, how big the diamond gonna be, the most expensive shoes, coats, and whatnot. It should be about you ended the year on a positive note and you gave people a little extra good cheer this year. So I'm going to do it. My boy Hugh gonna do it. I know Dr. Facey's gonna do it. So I'm challenging you. We all want to do these crazy challenges all the time. Tide Pod and the Step on the Crates challenge and the Smack People in the Face challenge. Let's do a challenge that is positive for all. I challenge you to pay it forward, to do random act of kindness this holiday season, to do things for your fellow man, not because you need to, not because you have to, but because in your heart, you know it's the right thing to do. A lot of us, we got a little extra money that we can spend on them instead of us or our other ones. And if they don't understand that, then you're not teaching your people well about life. Because life can't just always be about us and you. Sometimes it's about we, the collective, we, the village. So please, folks, invest your time and a little effort and money if you can this holiday season to the less fortunate, to the homeless, to the people that need our help, to those people that find themselves in unfortunate situations during the holidays. There are people that end up losing their job this time of year. There are people that unfortunately have accidents happen with their car or their home. Let's seek some of these people out and see what we can do to help them. There are millions of GoFundMe pages, it seems like, for people who are dying or people who have died and need help with the funeral and whatnot. I'm sure there's a few of those GoFundMe pages that are legitimate and people need actual help. Try to seek them out and do what you can. You can go to your local authorities or your local soup kitchens, Salvation Armies and whatnot and ask, what can I do to help? Is there something I can do to help you guys out with helping other people? And if not, there's always somebody in your immediate circle that may know someone that needs a little help, and help them. That is my challenge to you guys, and hopefully you will meet the challenge, make me proud. You don't always have to advertise what you're going to do in terms of helping. Many times I've helped behind the scenes, not letting people know that I do these things, but I felt it was important this time to let folks know that I'm doing that so that it could be a blessing to others, and I can encourage you to do the same. So hopefully you do that and make your year count for something more. Let's all strive to do that if we can, okay? Now, that being said, this is going to be an early episode, y'all. We're going to shut it down now. I thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to have a few more weeks to get off my long live, and then we're going to shut it down for the holidays. So I will tell you the last episode to get off my long live for the season will be the day after Christmas, that's December 26th. At that time, we're going to do a little maintenance behind the scenes, upgrade some stuff, and get ready for season 3, not only of our show, but for a couple other shows in the Nighthawk Network. So when we come back in 2022, we're doing bigger, better, more things, more promotions, more guests, all that great stuff. And I thank you guys for being a part. I thank you guys for tuning in, whether you tuned in for the whole time or part of the time. I thank you for your comments, whether you agree or disagree. We encourage all the comments, good and bad. I don't want you to always agree with everything I say. And if you don't agree, I want you to feel comfortable enough to go ahead and let us know. If you can't let me know directly in the comments, you can always inbox me in my messenger and tell me privately, and we can discuss based on those discussions. So feel free to do that. Absolutely. In the meanwhile, folks, we're about to head out of here. Please check out the show known as Big Meech and Company's. Hold on, people. You know, I like to do my little spiel here at the end. Also known as Dishing Tea with Big Meech and Aunt Nikki and Big Red, which is usually on weekends at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It said what I said Sunday, so if he is indeed doing the show this evening, it will be that where he will allow you the opportunity to come on the show and speak for 5 minutes of what's on your mind, as long as you're being respectful. We, of course, have Stan Mason's Behind the Blue Curtain that you can find Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like I said, you can check on YouTube to find Stan Mason, where you can see that show I talked about yesterday and back episodes. They have great discussions, great guests, always good content there. We always have Let's Talk with Aunt Nikki, her interview show that she should be starting back sometime early next year, we hope. The Girl Stop Podcast, who has shut down production for the time being. I will be in contact with them soon to find out what's going on with that. And hopefully they will start back soon. We have Pastor Shine Love Presents. I will be bringing you another episode of that sometime tomorrow or Tuesday. Shout out to Pastor Love. Good to see you still got things going and giving excellent messages in faith. I appreciate that. To Get Off My Lawn After Dark edition, we will probably have one more episode of that before the year is over. So stay tuned for that. We also, of course, have the show known as Game Time Audible with Hugh Lee, the sports guru, my good buddy. We'll be on Wednesday to talk about what happened during Thanksgiving games, what happened with Michigan Go Blue, and some of the other major college sports as we start to wind down the college football season. We'll definitely get into some NBA and college basketball as well. And all in all, I just want to thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being part of the show. We always encourage you guys to give us your comments or anything you would like for us to advertise or research on the show. by going to nighhtnetwork313@gmail.com. Again, that's nighhtnetwork313@gmail.com. Looking forward to hearing from you and looking forward to seeing more of you on the show and commenting on the show and all of that. So until next time, guys, please be safe. Remember, we're still in the midst of the pandemic. As Stan Mason always says, life is not a Trump rally. Please wear your mask and social distance where you can. This thing ain't over, and it ain't going to be over until we do a better job of putting forth the effort to make it be that way. So until then, y'all, we will catch you guys on Wednesday and definitely here next Sunday for Get Off My Lawn Live. Thanks again for tuning in. This is your boy, Eric Buckner E. Buck. We about to be out. Where's that good old outro of mine? Give me a second, y'all. I swear it's like they move it around on me. But here we go. See ya.